And what's the most important part of the day? Is that working on the application, or is it making those new connections?
In the beginning, when I started, number one, building, right? Building relationships, building business.
Can you
But
start on this? How did you build the relationships?
Yeah, so to me, what worked out best is building three types of relationships. Number one, lender. Number two, referral partners. And number three, clients. And all three relationships have to be dealt in a very, very, you have to give like equal importance to each relationship, because these are the pillars of your business. Like with lenders, learning about their lending policies, learning about their guidelines, learning about how the things are done in their office, learning about how their underwriters like to see their files. By doing that, you're actually, when you're submitting a file to the lender, you're actually mitigating most of the delays right up front by knowing, okay, these are the guidelines, these are the notes, this is how it should be presented. So that makes your relationship stronger with a particular lender, and then it helps you get exceptions that you need to complete, to get the file approved, to help out your client and to help out your referral partner.
And how do you find those lenders? Are they usually from your office?
Yeah, lenders are tied up to a brokerage, and I would meet them, I would invite them, or they would invite me over coffee, lunch. You and I met a couple of weeks ago when I was having lunch with the lender. This is very, very important. Lender relationships are very important to create, and very, very important to maintain. Okay,
so you take them for lunch. You ask them questions, how they like the business. Like, what do you usually ask them for?
Yeah, so I ask them questions that I may have as per their policies. So when it comes to conventional business, what are your lending guidelines? GDS, TDS, how, exceptions, what kind of files would fit, what kind of files would not fit. So understanding that, and then understanding what kind of information I can provide to underwriters upfront. Like some lenders have policies that you have to provide full documents upfront, and some lenders do not have that policy. So if you're if you're mixing and matching and not knowing what to do with what lender, that just creates delays. So that's, making sure that I know upfront how am I going to be dealing with that lender. So that's number one. Number two, most important relationship for maintaining is referral partners. And referral partners could be realtors, of course, lawyers, and also financial advisors. So creating relationships. So how do you create relationships with your referral partners? Well, in my case, I was in sales before joining this industry. So some of the salespeople I worked with became real estate agents or financial advisors. So I basically partnered up with them and then started to build network and relationships from there. And then making sure that I'm genuinely interested in partnering with them and genuinely caring about their clients. So those were very, very important pieces to my business, and I still take those as my number one priorities. And always making sure that they are happy. They always know what's going on, and if there's any possibility of the things not getting done, I would tell them upfront rather than wasting their time and my time or their client's time. And if there's any possibility to get things done, making sure to get things done in the most efficient manner and in best interest for the client and for the referral partner.
That's a good advice. I like that. So you said you go for open houses with real estate agents too, right? Is that what you do?
Yeah, sometimes, if they have an open house and I'm aware of that and I'm available, I would reach out to them, provide them like a feature sheet where it would highlight, okay, this is your list, this is your listing, this is your list price, and these are the monthly payments and interest rates at the time. You can have them available at your open house, or I can join you and support you at the open house. So in case if your clients have any questions, they can be handled right on site. Yeah,
So basically, you can
that's
find
my
the
weekend.
clients at open houses yourself, right? And the agents assigning to the clients.
Yeah, and the goal is to create the lead for both of us, like for myself and my referral partners who I joined at the open house. So in some cases, the clients would not respond to realtors, but in some cases, they would respond to brokers and vice versa. So the goal is to at least try and reach out to them and pre-approve them, and then send the lead back to the realtor for helping them to purchase if they didn't buy that particular place they met us at. So that way you're creating leads for yourself, for your referral partners, and you're building business from there.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so that's the first two pillars. And what was the last one?
So the third relationship, which is again very, very important, one of the most important relationships, is your customers. So you've created lender relationships, you've created referral partners. Now is the time to create those client relationships, and those are created by providing the service they deserve, right? But by doing the transaction in a way that you would be doing for yourself. Anything related to interest rates, payments, term, lender, type, anything. So the transaction, if you do thinking that it's done in a way that I would do it for myself, then that's the best way to move that file along. And when you're generally doing that and thinking that, then the things do turn out to be the best for everybody.
Do you meet up with the clients face-to-face, or you do usually through Skype or Zoom or online? What's your usual, how do you build that relationship with the client?
So I try to keep things as simple as possible when it comes to how I'm going to be dealing with clients, whether face-to-face or remotely. So my typical process starts with a phone call. So a 15-minute phone call would be talking about, okay, tell me about your current situation. Tell me what we are looking to do. Tell me what your ideal situation looks like. And then understanding their needs is very, very important at that call. So that can be like, some people could be challenged with, let's say, down payment, or could be challenged with qualification. So you just have to understand that during that call as much as possible. And then my second step after that includes sending them a list of documents. And then sometimes the clients would want to meet you face-to-face to hand out the documents, or email you, or send you their documents electronically. I try to not travel just to pick up the documents as much as possible. Just try to get those documents electronically. Number one, I'm paperless. I don't keep documents in my office. And number two, I find that it's best use of time if we do the dealing electronically. I'm saving on commute. They are saving on putting aside 1 hour, 2 hours aside for a meeting. And that's the differentiation between us being mortgage brokers versus banks, where people actually go book an appointment, go to the bank, wait for an hour, whatever, and then come back and travel and do all that stuff, right? So typically like 2 to 3 hours of the time is gone, where it could have been done over 15 minutes via electronically. So, and this is coming, and it's not like my preference. It's like I've attended Dustin Woodhouse's conferences, and I've heard many experienced people saying, and many experienced people in our offices, everybody recommends to do, work remotely as much as possible. And especially during this time of COVID-19, that's coming out very handy because when this was all happening, it was pretty much, I'm like, I don't feel any difference because I don't go out and meet clients face to face. So it was a business as usual for a long time for me. And it is still.
It actually trains, I think, people now to use more Zoom and everything, so you don't actually have to meet them face to face anymore, right? That's awesome.
Exactly. Buy Microsoft shares at this time, and and it is. Yeah. So
when you talk to them on the phone, so just to clarify, when you talk to them on the phone, do you pre-qualify them for yourself to see if they're going to be worth your time?
I typically, like at that time on the call, I do not give out any numbers or discuss any numbers in terms of qualification, because I want to make sure that I've reviewed their documents first before giving any information out.
What I meant when I say pre-qualify, not like mortgage type qualification, but for yourself to see if it's a good client for you. See if they're, ask them specific question that will tell you that it's worth my time. Do you know what I mean? Like that way.
Yes, absolutely. And in some cases, like if you're hearing things like there's no down payment at all during that call, then the best next step is not to send them a documents list, but to talk about how their down payment is coming and going to be arranged, right? So definitely, you definitely want to allocate your time to clients who are actually actively looking and have resources to do so.
Okay, and then so you have the 3 pillars. Out of those ones, all of them equal? How do you spend your time on all of them? Like, what's your timing, or who do you try to give more time to if you had to?
Yeah, so absolutely, all 3 being equal. Mornings are very important dealing with lenders when they're open. So 8:30 to, I would say, 10:30, 11 to try and get back, exchange documents or move the deal as much as possible in the morning. And then I would say between 10:30 and 11, when referral partners wake up and have had their breakfast, it's usually them for the next 2 to 3 hours, and then communicating everything back to the client later in the afternoon. So for me, they're all equal. They hold all equal importance in terms of creating relationships and maintaining.
Okay, I know you're super successful now, right? And how long did it take you to get that success?
So thanks to you. I joined GOBC during late spring or summer of 2017. So towards and I did my course around late summer. Completed my course around late summer. And by the way, I had registered for that course 2 years in advance, which I never got the chance to do.
The UBC course?
One of my friends. Yeah, UBC, and that's a big fat book. So it took me 2 years to probably go through 1 or 2 chapters because I was working full time and I had no time to read that book. And then one day, one of my friends told me about GOBC, and I'm like, oh, that location is very, very close to me. So I'm definitely going to explore. And then I called and I registered myself, and 60 days later, I had my license. So, and so thanks so much, Yana, for helping me at that time. And that made me motivated. And basically what I did after getting my license is 3 months after, I tried to do it with my job. I just couldn't. I just couldn't set up. I just couldn't get back to my referral partners. I would build relationships while I was working full time. And when they were calling me, I was at work doing presentations and in the middle of meetings, and I just couldn't take on those meetings to the next level, take on to those relationships to the next level. So I ended up quitting my job towards right after 3 months. And
how did your family react to that?
You know what? We planned for it. We we did some math and we were like, okay, even if I do this much in my first year, it would still be okay. We would still be okay, and so on. So we did take calculated risk.
Okay.
Yeah, pre-planning. And yeah, towards the end of 2017, last quarter, I joined the brokerage that I'm with right now. And then they helped me really well, onboarding, training experienced mortgage brokers, sharing their experience. So first 3-4 months I went through that process, and then 2018 I was up and running, and I brought stress test with me when I started. So that was 2 years ago. Yeah, so it took me about I would say about 3 to 6 months to kind of get the files going, get the relationship going. And yeah, so for me, it was luckily not as much as long as I, oops, I think I lost you. No. Yeah, so 3 to 6 months is, I would say, full-time focus is what it takes.
Okay, so you said, so before that, you didn't have any knowledge about mortgages, right? At all?
Clue. Not a clue.
Right?
No. Zero exposure to mortgage industry other than having my own mortgage. So that was it.
So you learn everything from your office, and you learn from the lenders, right? By meeting up with the lenders, is that true? Okay.
Yes, Dustin Woodhouse, lenders, office, mix of all. And yeah, that really helped me kind of understand how this all works, what to do, what not to do, those kind of things.